Well, some of you watch my videos and I appreciate that. And some of you give me, let's say, constructive criticism, and I appreciate that as well. As always, I try to keep you up to date on the latest things that are happening here. And in this case, we have the fires in Northern California that have consumed over 200,000 acres that are keep on going. They're continuing to burn, and we have very light ash that's falling from the fires, so I can't keep cars clean. But I decided to go ahead and do what I can with the 55 T-Bird that's in front of me here right now. And also I want to say that I'm just one guy with a cheap camera on my cheap phone. I'm not a cameraman. I'm not a script writer. I don't pre-plan what I'm going to look at or what I'm going to say. It's just off the cuff as I see it and try to work through it. So you get the raw footage, unedited, no help, as I see it. Some say back up so you can see the whole car. Some say you're too close to the car. So what I say is what you see is what you get. Okay? So this 55 T-Bird was a recent purchase from a dealer to a person that took the dealer's word for it, basically, and made the purchase. Afterwards, we started getting phone calls for help, and I have to say that one of the main very well-known T-Bird restoration and authenticity persons that is close by me asked if I would help sort this thing out so the buyer could at least drive it. So we've got it to the point where it can be driven, and I'll go over some of those things, but just want to show you some of the other things that I've noticed. Now, if I were to do a pre-purchase inspection, everything that I'm going to mention here would be on the report and a whole lot more. After a pre-purchase inspection is done and the report's put together, it's between the buyer and the seller if they want to proceed with the purchase. I don't recommend, I just state and say, this is what I find. I don't know what you want to do, here it is. And there you go. So let's talk about this T-Bird. So 55, so it has the 292 Y block with the engine dress-up kit that consists of the aluminum valve covers and the chrome air cleaner primarily. And it has power steering, and it has the power brake option. T-Bird guys will notice already that it has the wrong battery in it. That's just a battery that is pretty commonly available aftermarket. So that's something that we see a lot. They don't replace it with the correct 6-volt battery. Now 55 was the first year of these little T-Birds, and also last year of 6-volt for Ford. So this is correct, 6-volt car, 1955. Some of the things that were not working on the car, the mechanical fuel pump was not working, so that's been replaced. There were some fuel delivery problems. The starter relay cable connections were loose enough that they'd been heated up and burned, and some other things going on underneath the hood that we just kind of went through and got it to the point where it was drivable. The car has obviously been repainted and some restoration work done, but there's still a lot more things that could be done. Let's look at those rubber upper control arm bushings. They're in bad condition, and so are the lower ones. I've been underneath the car, of course, too, and they're not in good shape. The power steering control valve was leaking. The power steering cylinder was leaking. Resealed those as well, just to get this thing up to where you could drive it. Okay, the fit of the hood is okay. Gaps are not too bad. The hood is acceptable. You can see that the headlight eyebrows, there's quite a bit of mismatch in there, and I'm not saying that that's a problem, I'm just pointing it out. Chrome is average, not anything to write home about. We'll walk around the car. It has both tops. Of course, 55 did not have portholes, and it has the convertible folding top underneath or behind the back seat. It has a power seat. I'm going into the trunk. I've already pulled the carpet back a little bit so we can kind of get an eyeball of what's going on in the trunk floor. You see some kind of mastic or something going on here that's probably filled some kind of problem, which could be rust. I don't know by looking at that. I have to go underneath the car and look at it. Okay, so there we go there. Looking up at the trunk lid at the edges to see if they're in good shape or if they've been bonded up or anything like that. Not too bad, but I can see that there's something going on underneath this mastic stuff that's a little overdone in the trunk here. This one's loose, a piece of carpet here over the wheelhouse. So let's see what we got there. There's an awful lot of body mastic stuff. Originally there's a little seam around, they're in the seam, they fill that, and it could be just overdone. Again, getting underneath the car would tell us a whole lot more. Yes, I've been there, but we're not going to go there in this video. Okay, closing the trunk lid, and it fits. Could be better. It's acceptable for a driver quality car. Rear bumper, the chrome is fair. The bumper guards and exhaust outlets, the chrome is a little bit tarnished, not that great. We've got some dirt and so forth. The ash from the fires on the chrome headlight or taillight bezels. It has the skirts, that's good. So the car's fairly complete. Let's go around here to some of the trim pieces. You see those screws that are in there and the threshold the sill plates? Those are totally wrong and they're oversized. That tells me that the holes were too big for the stock screws and they put something in there that would hold down. Now, why are those holes too big? Let's investigate. Next thing I see, part of that investigation, if you look at the finish here on the door jamb pillars, the A pillar, the paint is very orange peeled and crude, and that door stop has been welded into the body piece there. And if I look down in here, I'm picking up sand. Where does sand come from? Driving on the beach? Or does it come from sandblasting the car before paint? You decide. And why is this area very smooth, where this other part of the car is kind of rough. I probably want to check that further with a magnet, which I'm not going to do it for this purpose. Let's look inside here. Looks like headliner's new, but poorly installed and loose. Not a very nice job there. It has the drape over the convertible top, and there's the convertible top frame. I would normally put the convertible top up. I'm not going to do it for this video. Now, looking at door trim, again, the armrest covers kind of wrinkled and loose. Not really a great job installing those. And let's close the door. Closed okay. The door gap is fair, a little bit close along the front edge, and it's close enough in this corner that the paint has chipped a little bit there. Okay, let's back up here a little bit, give you a shot of the whole side of this entire side of the car. Black car, so it's got to be at least straight and free from wrinkles to be painted black. And they did a good enough job to block the whole sides, make it look good. Okay, let's go around here. The windshield is a replacement glass. I don't think you can see the bug right there, but it's a Solex glass, PPG aftermarket. And again, we have the same problem over here with the oversized screws in the sill plate. And look at that door jamb. What do you think about that? Okay. Bottoms of doors have been worked on pretty well. The rockers have some paint on them, but they weren't done that well. The frame is a little bit mottled or orange peeled, so that tells me that there's more rust there. And I've had the carpet up, and underneath the carpet is quite a bit of loose sand. So again, that sand had to come from somewhere, and I'm thinking it's not from Miami Beach. Okay, now I'm gonna get in the car. I'm over 6 foot tall, so I have to kind of fold myself into the car. Now, another thing on T-Birds you got to watch out for is this window pillar post here. They're die cast, and they're not a handle. I would suggest that T-Bird owners don't grab this and use this to as a grab hold, get yourself in and out of the car. They're weak down here at the bottom underneath, and they will break. So don't use that to get in and out of the car. Okay. Now this has the 4-way electric seat. I'm not going to test all this stuff and show you that it works. Some works, some doesn't. It's the Ford-O-Matic. The clock is working, the tach works, speedometer is a little bit nervous. The radio works, but the off-on switch doesn't work, so they put a toggle switch under the dash here and wired into the radio to make that radio operable. We got a pretty decent covered dash, and let's see what we've got going here. Engine cranked over really nice with the 6-volt, didn't it? See, there's really nothing wrong with a 6-volt system if everything is working like it should. Okay, now we're into drive. Let's go for a little test drive in the T-Bird. Again, I've said we've done some things to it to make it drivable. It came here on a flatbed, not running. So the dealer sold them a car that they expected they could get in and drive. And it was brought out here and dropped off, and it wouldn't start. So here we go. All right, now we got the speedometer just a little bit nervous, so the speedo head has got to be redone. Tack smooth, so that tack cable is probably in good shape. This is a mechanical tachometer, runs off the distributor. So the T-Birds have a mechanical drive tachometer and a special distributor that has the drive for the tack cable. I also noticed that the tires on this are pretty old. I think they're Allstate, Sears Allstate bias ply tires. Very old tires. It's going to need a set to make it safe to drive. So, okay, we're going down the road okay, and accelerates pretty good. Not bad at all. So I've got a little bit of a punch list to do. Go back over and talk to the owners about what they want to do next so that we can make it better for them to drive, and hopefully a little safe at the same time. So there you go, 55 Thunderbird. Thanks for watching.